What's up, dude?
What's up?
Not much. Today we're talking about foam rolling. First question we have is foam rolling good for you?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes.
Okay. So, why is foam rolling good for you? Let's start there.
So foam rolling is great because it gives you the perception of not being tight. And if someone comes in tight, it allows them to be able to train in a state that they feel really good in.
From the way I'm understanding it, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's foam rolling gives you the ability to feel where you need to feel, the way you need to feel, right? Loose enough or prepared for the day to actually train mobility. So foam rolling itself does not actually create mobility.
No, foam rolling does not actually change a mobility issue. All it does is it gives us the ability to do things that we wouldn't have without it.
So when we talk about like the IT band, like I see a lot of guys like rolling on their side, right? Like they roll out their quad first and they'll go to their IT band. Like from what I'm hearing, like that idea of rolling that muscle, rolling that body point, we're not actually really accomplishing any physical change. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it doesn't give us enough stimulus on the body to actually create that change that real training actually does.
Gotcha. So we need a higher stimulus or a higher change or a higher load, basically,
Yes.
to be able to actually apply change. So we can't induce that type of load through a foam roller, basically, put the type of pressure into that spot to create that. Okay, that makes sense. So, what about other modalities? I know you have like I've seen guys with lacrosse balls or like the like Taylor guns, right? So. Are those one and the same? It seems like if it's a loading issue, that those are going to apply the same or have the same problem. Right?
Yeah. So anything that's a passive modality like foam rolling, anything or the Theragun, things like that, all it does is it changes the perception of how you feel. Then coming into the weight room and having a very structured program to fix those limitations is where the real change happens. But a lot of people think, oh, I foam rolled because I got more range of motion because I foam rolled. No, you got better range of motion, mobility through the training, but the foam roller was a path that got you to that training to actually create real change.
They prepared you for it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So how would a guy? We have all this application now. We know there's a feeling of foam rolling, right? And we know that there's an actual application of like training to make that stimulus become actual change. Like if we have a range of motion issue, we change that by training it, right? Go through that process and why we would use a foam roller, the structure which we would use a foam roller to prepare for that training stimulus.
Yeah. So with the foam roller, it's going to be the first thing because we want to change the perception. Next, it would be mobility. So this would be where your normal stretching would come into play. So right after the foam roller would be a stretching. So let's take a hip issue, for example. Something like an elevated pigeon pose, stretching. Then something into stability. So stability exercise, something like a single leg RDL, unloaded, just to feel that internal rotation, the stability of it. And then being able to load those hips in something like a lunge. We know with the lunge, we can go barbell, we can do dumbbell, we can do multiple different things to add load. This is where we can then create that real change is in the lunges, but there's multiple steps to get the most out of that lunge. And basically, once you do the lunge, you basically just keep going through that process until change has occurred.
So basically, the foam roller itself does not fully change the red flag or the issue we'd see from the assessment in terms of like if it's a mobility issue, right? So we have foam roller, that'd be the start. We move to the mobility component of it, the stability, the strength component of it to actually see change applied to a certain issue that we may have or a red flag in the assessment. So I think that's it. We concluded on that.
Yep.
Anything to add?
No.
Awesome. Cool. Throwing it back to the booth. Appreciate it, Gary.